them. It's that you're willing to be good to those too, to those that hate you. Verse 34, if you lend to them of whom you hope to receive, what thank have you? For sinners also lend to sinners to receive as much again. That's why Christ said when you call a feast, don't just make a habit of calling the folks that you know or your family members. Get the people that can't do anything back for you. Get the homeless or get the least fortunate down the road, folks you normally wouldn't have nothing to do with. Good opportunity to get them and take care of them and feed them and show them hospitality and love, because they can't do nothing back for you. And that's what we're after, right? If you do things just to receive things back in this world, then you're doing them for the wrong reasons. And if you do things the way that God would have you do, especially to your enemies, then your reward's going to be in heavenly places. Bless God, and that's where I want mine. Right? This old world doesn't really matter. He raised me this way for a reason, not to get too comfortable here. And our rewards are coming. And I'm looking for the job well done, not for what I can gain out of this old world. We're just pilgrims passing through here. Verse 35, but to love your enemies and do good and lend, hoping for nothing again, and your reward shall be great, and you shall be the children of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. Be you therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. And God is kind to the unthankful and to the evil, isn't he? Imagine how much more so he will be for his children, those that are doing his will, those that are in his love, and those that are doing the things that he tells us to do. And I'm not talking about commandment keeping or ordinances. I'm talking about the love, giving what you have. Faith, hope, and love are the three things he gave us. And what's the greatest of those? Love. Love, because nothing without love means anything. If you do not have love behind your motives for doing anything, when you're out sharing the gospel with somebody and you're out evangelizing, are you doing it for love? Because you should be. For the love that you don't want that person, that soul, to spend an eternity in hell. Okay? We don't do it for our church, and we don't do it for ourselves. We do it because we have compassion and love on that person to know that if they do not accept Christ, then they will surely perish. And beloved, that kind of love is not received well by the world, but you have to keep loving anyway. And with that loving means you have to keep being a thorn in people's sides. You have to keep being that salt. You have to keep on wherever you're at, whoever you're with. You have to keep on trying to share that love with them, even when they don't want it. And most of the time, the people that reject you, they don't want your love, do they? They'll curse you, they'll curse your God, and tell you what to do with both of you. Right? It happens to me all the time. But does that slow me down? No. It gives me more of a fire to do what it is that God has called me to do. Because we are victors. We are overcomers. And when people come at you, beloved, and they're going to. If you haven't noticed it, it's going to become more and more hostile to be a child of God right here in the United States of America. Because every day things are being passed that take away our freedom of speech. And we're way past our freedoms, but people don't realize it yet. But it's really going to start hindering the gospel message unless you're willing to stand up and preach the gospel message anyway. Okay, and that loving somebody enough to do that, even at peril to your own life, loss of life or everything you have, that speaks volumes right there. That speaks volumes in and of itself. So when your enemies come at you and when they do you wrong, and I know somebody's probably got right now today while you're sitting here, you've probably got somebody that's doing you wrong. You've probably got somebody that's going to do you wrong in the near future if you haven't. Remember this, and remember what Christ has told us to do. Love them. Yes, it's hard to, so you probably need to pray up in advance. So, because that way when your attack comes, we can handle it in a spiritual way instead of handling it in a fleshly way. Okay, so love your enemies. So what's the answer to how should a Christian respond to hostility? What's a Christian response to hostility? Love them. Love them. Pray for them. And that's going to mess them up right there. That'll mess them up. Like heaping coals of fire on their head. Just break down and pray for them. Right on the spot. It's not the natural thing to do. But it's the spiritual thing to do. And the more you do it, the more natural it'll become. Questions? Comments?